Hey there, Luma. Welcome back. This beauty, this is called the Bobble stitch. And me, I'm Denise from loomahead.com, and I'm super excited to bring you a slightly modified version of this stitch. Alright, as always, I want to give you the heads up that this is a stitch pattern only video, and so there's no cast on or cast off, because projects, not stitch patterns, determine how we start and how we end. Alright, without further ado, let's begin with our first row of bobbles. So the first thing we're going to learn to do is to make a bobble, and in order to do that we have to work over 3 pegs. So start by doing a cast on of an odd number of pegs, 7, 13, whatever, odd number. And so in this case we're going to start with these 3 pegs right here, and we're going to knit first peg 1 and peg 2. So I'm going to use the flat version of the knit stitch. Use whatever you're comfortable with and is going to work for your project. Right here, this middle peg, that's where the bobble is going to be made. So go ahead and knit that second peg. And now your working yarn is on peg 2. You're going to stay right there and take the working yarn under the existing loop. So here's my yarn. I bring it under the loop that is currently on the peg 2, and from the top I'm going to take my hook and push it down and scoop up the working yarn to create a loop, and I'm going to take that loop and I'm going to put it on the peg that's on the right. Now my working yarn is still on peg 2 where I'm doing my bobble, and this time I'm going to take the working yarn and I'm going to put it over the existing loop that is on peg 2. So bring the yarn up, and I'm going to take my hook from the bottom this time, and I'm going to feed it up in order to grab the working yarn, scoop it down and create another loop. I'm going to now take that loop and I'm going to place it on peg 3, which is to the left. Now I want you to take a look at what you have so far. You have your working yarn is on peg 2, right? And you have 2 loops on peg 1 and 2 loops sitting on peg 3. You're only going to be knitting the loops that are on the top. All right, so we're going to call this row 1 of the bobble, and we're going to knit pegs 3, 2, and then 1 in that order. Okay, so take the working yarn, and from the top you're going to knit peg 3. You're going to knit peg 2, which only has 1 loop, and you're going to knit peg 1. Remember, you're only knitting the top loops. Those bottom loops on 1 and 3, leave them alone. You're only knitting off the top loops. Now that was row 1 of the bobble. You still have 2 loops on pegs 1 and 3. And now what you're going to do is for rows 2 through 8 of the bobble, you're going to slip 1 and then knit 2. So take the working yarn, and that peg 1, you're just going to slip it and you're going to knit 2 and 3. And then you're going to turn around, slip 3 and knit pegs 2 and then 1. And then you're going to slip that one. You're knitting flat, right? Back and forth. You're going to slip 1, knit 2, slip 1, knit 2, slip 1, knit 2. You're going to continue to do this. You want a total of 8 rows on that you're knitting on these 3 pegs. Slip 1, knit 2, slip 1, knit 2. right? Always knitting those loops that are on the top. And don't worry if you have these really loose loops up here. It's not going to bother at all. Don't overthink it. Just knit. Slip one, knit two, slip one, knit two. Once you have your 8 rows that you're knitting right there on those 3 pegs, you're not moving from there, you're knitting those 3 pegs, slip one, knit two, slip one, knit two, until you have a total of 8 rows. Then your next step is to take those top loops, the one on peg 1 and 3, and you're going to bring them in. You're going to take them off. We're going to start with the loop that is on peg 1. Take it off of peg 1 and bring it in and put it on top of the loop, the existing loop on peg 2, and then take the loop off of peg 3 and bring it to peg 2. Tighten your yarn. You now have 3 loops on peg 2 plus all of the knitting you've done. So those 3 loops are on there. You're going to take the bottom loop and you're going to knit off. And now there are 2 loops on that peg, right? And your peg 1 only has 1 loop, your peg 2 has 2 loops, and your peg 3 has 1 loop. And you've done your first bobble. Okay? You're going to continue to do this. Always there's a space between one bobble and the next. So space, bobble, space, bobble, space, bobble, and you continue. So let's make the next bobble on this same row, right? We're still on row 1. And so the bobble that we just made has 2 loops on it. It's right here. That's the one we made. And so we need a space between that one and the next one we're going to make. So the next one is going to be right here. And since that's the middle, then we know that these 3 pegs are the 3 pegs that we're going to work on. There are new pegs 1, 2, and 3. So again, we take our working yarn and we're going to knit off pegs 1 and peg 2. Peg 2 being where we're going to make the bobble. And we're going to take the working yarn and put it under the existing loop on peg 2. And from the top, we're going to scoop upward and create a loop and put it to the right. And then take our working yarn and put it over the existing loop. And from the bottom, we're going to scoop down to create a new loop and take that loop and put it on the peg to the left, which is our new peg 3. And now we take the working yarn and we're going to knit off all 3 pegs, right? Using the top loops on pegs 1 and 3. So using the top loop of peg 3, we're going to knit peg 3 and then we're going to knit peg 2 next. So we're going to knit off that 1 loop and then come to peg 1 and we're only knitting off that top loop. And again, peg 1 has 2 loops, peg 2 has 1, and peg 3 has 2 loops. So turn around, we're going to slip 1 and knit 2. So this is our second row of the bobble. We're going to slip 1, turn around, slip 1, knit 2, and then slip 1 and knit 2. And remember, we are knitting flat back and forth using only these 3 pegs. And on peg 1 and peg 3, we are only using the top loops. We don't knit off the bottom loops. We knit only the top loops. And we need to do this. Okay, just to kind of sum it up. You knitted off pegs 3, 2, and 1 in that row. That was row 1. And then you need 7 more rows of slip 1, knit 2. That's going to give you a total of 8 rows to create the bobble. And once you've done your 8 rows, right, remember that you have a loop on the top and the bottom on row 1, on peg 1. So take that loop, that top loop off of peg 1, put it on 2. Take the top loop off of peg 3 and put that on top of peg 2. Tighten your stitch. You now have 3 loops on peg 2. Take that bottom loop over the 2 that are there and knit off, and your bobble is done. Now we've done 2 of them, right? Here is that first bobble we knitted, and you see that it has 2 loops, then the space, then there's another bobble, and there's a space between that one and the next one that you're going to knit. Now at a bit of a higher speed, we're going to go ahead and do the last bobble in this row 1. So here are our 3. We're going to knit 2 of our 3 pegs. Take our working yarn, put it under, from the top scoop up, take that loop, put it to the right, from the bottom scoop down to create another loop, take that loop, put it to the left. We're going to knit those 3 pegs in this order. I'm going to knit peg 3, peg 2, and then peg 1, and I'm leaving that bottom loop on pegs 1 and 3. Okay, now I'm going to slip 1, knit 2, starting with that peg 1. I'm going to slip it, knit peg 2 and peg 3, and then I'm going to slip peg 3, knit peg 2, peg 1, slip peg 1, knit peg 2 and peg 3, and then slip peg 3, knit peg 2 and peg 1. Remember that I need a total of 8 rows to create this one bobble. If you want to make it smaller, you know, you could do less rows. If you want to make it bulkier, you could do more rows. You know, it's up to you. Test it. If it didn't work right, undo it, start again. All right, once you have your 8 rows, take the loop off of 1, put it on peg 2, take the loop off peg 3, put it on peg 2, tighten your stitch. You have 3 loops. Take the very bottom one off on peg 2 and knit those 2 off, and there you have it. That is my last bobble on this row, and then I'm going to go ahead and knit my extra stitch. That's it. That is the first row when you're making a bobble. Now your next row is that you're going to knit all of your stitches, including when you get to one of those pegs where you have 2 loops left over from your bobble, knit both of them off. So knit and then knit 2 together, and then knit and then knit 2 together, and that's how you're going to do that second row, and continue until you've knit off all of your pegs. When you get to the last stitch, you're going to then knit that last stitch, and then you're going to turn around because we're knitting flat in this case. And personally, I like space between my rows, so I'm going to do 2 rows of purl stitches. You guys already know how to do a purl, but just in case, put the working yarn under the existing loop, scoop up to create a new loop, take the old one off, put the new one on, and pull. That is a purl stitch, and I'm gonna do 2 rows of the purl stitch because I like distance between one row of bobbles and the next. If you don't do it. Either don't do any purl stitch rows or only do 1. In my case, I'm going to do 2 rows and then do another row of bobbles. Now your row of bobbles can align or they can stagger. In my case, I like to stagger them. So the bobble that I made on the first row was here. This one, I want it now over here. So I want to stagger them. So what I'm going to do is, instead of starting here, this is where I'm doing bobble space, right? This is where we started before. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put a knit stitch right there. And this time I'm putting an additional knit stitch again in order to stagger them. So here's my extra knit stitch, which is my new peg 1, and next to it is my new peg 2. So these are the 3 pegs that I'm going to use to make the bobble. 1, 2, and 3. And again, this time my bobbles are where my stitch markers are. Okay, see that bobble last time? Now I want it here, 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 here. You get the point. All right, so instead of talking you all the way through it, you can watch me make this next bobble, and I'll instead take the time to say thank you to everyone who watched the video this far, because that helps me and it helps you. I always encourage everyone to watch the videos from beginning to end before you attempt any project. It gives you a sense of security that you know what you're doing while you're doing it. Even though, another thing I always say, don't worry, you can always undo the project and start over again. Don't stress yourself. Enjoy what you're doing. So thank you to everyone that watched it all the way through. I will be making some projects with bobbles, so stay tuned for that. And remember that you can always join me on Patreon. It is a membership, and you get patterns every month. You get new ideas, and right now I'm starting a mini course called How to Read Stitch Charts. All right, guys, there you go. Keep making your bobbles. And YouTube is going to show you a few videos they think you're going to like. I think they know you better than I do, and you're going to enjoy them. All right, until next time, when you come back and loom with me again. Oh wait, before I go, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss anything. And most important, share the video because it helps me a whole lot. Thank you.